My name is Dion George, and I'm the coordinator for off-campus student services. We collaborated with the Financial Aid Office and the Office of Student Success and also the TRIO program in order to provide a series of information sessions that will help you in one, living off campus, or two, transitioning to living off campus. So today's session is the first in our series, and it is on money matters. All things having to do with money is what our presenters are going to be talking about today. So our first presenter is Susan Hartnagel, and she will go ahead and introduce herself. She's with Financial Aid, and then we're going to have Delisha Herring finish off our presentation. You should have all received a little survey sheet. Please fill that out and just hand it back to myself or Tanea, who is in the back. Either of us can take the surveys. Feel free to ask questions. I want to take this opportunity to let you know that we are recording this session, and UTV is here. If there's anyone who don't necessarily feel comfortable being recorded, just when I step up, just let me know, and we will do something differently. We're recording it because we're going to have this session accessible to students on our website. All right? All right, we'll get started.
Hi, how are you guys today?
Pretty good.
Just kind of get back into the swing of things. I'm Susan Hartnagel. I'm a senior financial aid advisor from the Financial Aid Office here on campus. Just want to let you know that we have 10 advisors in our office, and we all have an assigned caseload that's according to the first letter of your last name. You can come in and become any advisor at any time. Call our office, email us. So I really encourage you to come in if you have any questions at any point in time about your financial aid. We are there to assist you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about refunds. For a lot of students, maybe if you're a freshman, a refund is something that you're not going to be really knowing a lot about this year, but when you live off campus and you don't owe housing to the university, refunds come more into play. So how refunds are generated, or what a refund is, when you have more financial aid than your university charges for a particular semester are, a refund will generate in the cashier's office. And those are generally available for the fall semester. They're usually around mid-August, the week before classes begin, is when they kind of start hitting students' bank accounts and checks start being processed. Mid-January for spring and early June for summer. We can start to begin paying financial aid 10 days prior to the beginning of the semester. So that's kind of how that timeline works. You can have a refund check mailed to you. The cashier's office will use the information that you have in this MyZoo system for your address. So anytime your address changes, you always want to go in and make sure that that's current. Or you can have refunds direct deposited, and you can set that up through the cashier's office website. So I know that they really prefer that. They can get that money to you quickly, and then you don't have to worry about a check maybe going to an incorrect address or being lost in the mail. So this is an example of a refund. We're going to say Truman the Tiger has $7,500 in financial aid, and that could be grants, loans, scholarships, a combination of those things, or maybe just scholarships, maybe just loans, for the fall of 2014 semester. His charges for tuition and fees are $5,300. So once his financial aid is all applied to his university charges, it's going to leave a credit balance of $2,200 on his account. So $2,200 is going to be refunded to Truman either by check or direct deposit, and that's money that Truman is then to utilize for books and supplies, personal expenses, and living expenses for the fall semester. So as I mentioned, a check will be mailed to him, or it will be direct deposited into his bank account that he's given the information to the cashier's office. So once Truman's received the $2,200 refund, he may go and charge books at the bookstore after his account shows a zero balance. So he checks his account in late August and sees his bookstore charges are $375. So it's his responsibility to use some of that refund money to pay that cashier's bill or make other arrangements if maybe parents or family members are paying for books or using savings that you have. always want to make sure that you keep an eye on that MyZoo account. Each month, the cashier's office will send an email to you around the 20th of each month, letting you know what your current balance is at that point in time, what minimum payment is due by the 15th of the next month. So this is something that we commonly see in our office, is that student financial aid has all gone through, they've been issued a refund, but then charges come on later. So that can be books that you've charged, or tickets, parking, library, anything like that. So just make sure that you stay on top of that cashier's bill each month. Refund uses and pitfalls. You can use your refund for living expenses, as I mentioned, for rent, transportation, food. If you don't need as much of your refund as you've been issued, come into our office or call. We can actually reduce a loan for you if you'd like to do that. You can actually set it up with the cashier's office where you can leave refunds in their office on your account as a credit. If you want to have that applied to your next semester's charges. But if you don't need it and you want us to send it back, we can definitely take care of that for you. Budgeting is key. Just remember that once you have a refund, it's a lot, some students, it's a lot of money at one time, but that is money to help you get through the semester. So setting up a budget is very important. You want to plan for security deposits, first month's rent. If you are living on campus now and going to be moving off next year, those things are landlords are going to want those things up front. So just keep that in mind. That we cannot advance your financial aid to you until certain points in the semester. If the student comes in and has used all of their refund and doesn't have money to pay their December rent, and they say, I want to come in and borrow some money against my spring financial aid, we cannot do that until December 1st. It's usually about a month and a half before you are set to pay for the next semester. And just keep an eye on your cashier's account through MyZoo. And as I mentioned, refunds are generated, but there still may be charges that appear on the bill. You want to keep your account in good standing with the cashiers, because they are the office that can put a hold on your account where maybe it begins where you can't charge with your student ID. Then it becomes where you can't register for classes. So just don't let your account get to that point. Cashiers is also really good at working with students and families. If maybe a minimum payment of a certain amount is due and you're not able to meet that full minimum payment, contact our office and talk with them and say, I can pay this, but I can't pay this amount. They are really flexible and will work with families. So if you're making an effort to stay on top of that, they will definitely work with you. If your refund can't cover all of your expenses, what options do you have? Can you use any funding that you have from work, family savings to help you cover expenses? You can look at other options. I mean, you can look at enrolling less than full time, but sometimes that can really negatively impact your financial aid, especially if you have scholarships or the Pell Grant. You have to be in 12 hours at least full time to receive those. But we do have students that maybe say, well, I'm just going to drop maybe to 9 hours a semester to help lower my costs. But always contact our office to see if that is going to impact your financial aid in any way. Other financial aid options outside of federal loans, there's student loans and parent loans available through the federal loan program. There's also private loans. These are loans that are in the student's name. Most of them are going to require a cosigner. And the thing that you really want to look at is what is your interest rate that they want to do the loan under, and your repayment terms. Most of them will defer it until after you graduate, but it is going to accrue interest while you're in school. And this is going to be something separate from your federal loan payments once you graduate. So keep that in mind, that you would have two separate payments that you'd be obligated to. How to help your refund go farther. Try to save as much as you can from maybe summer jobs or refunds you receive during the academic year. As I mentioned earlier, if you have money that you're not going to use for a semester, you can ask us to return it. Or if you set up an account and say that's going to be my money for summer school, you can definitely do that. But just make sure that you either take into account that you're gonna use that later, or if you wanna return it to our office. Work with the Office for Financial Success, which Lisa's gonna talk about. And for the maximum financial aid offer, you wanna make sure that you do two things. File the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, by March 1st. That's our priority filing deadline here at Mizzou. And there's a certain type of grant money that we offer called MU grant, and also a federal grant, Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. And students that file by March 1st are the only ones that are given consideration for that. And if you have work study, that's something also you have to meet that March 1st deadline for. The other thing is complete the general scholarship application, which is due February 1st. And we send out reminders letting you know that that deadline's approaching, but those are for college and departmental scholarships that are offered here on campus. So just make sure that you get those two deadlines met each year, so we can definitely offer you the maximum financial aid possible. Finally, don't be afraid to ask for help or guidance from our office, the Office for Financial Success, or any other office here on campus. We're all committed to seeing you guys succeed here at Mizzou. So please do not hesitate to ask for assistance. Make a point of visiting your financial aid advisor once a semester, just to kind of touch base, just stay on top of the deadlines, that kind of thing. Thanks for coming today. That's awesome that it's such a good turnout. The other thing is you want to follow us on Twitter. Mizzou SFA is how you can follow us on Twitter. We make general announcements, just like when financial aid is being dispersed, and if there's problems with our phones or anything like that, we put that out on Twitter. We also put a lot of private scholarship notifications out there that we find through searching. So we'll just go ahead and put a link out there to a particular scholarship notice that we have come across. So that's something that you'll definitely want to do, get that information out to you quickly. So, and I'll go ahead and turn it over.
Did you guys have any questions for Susan while she's there? Nothing?
Yes.
Where is the list of, you said it's, the advisors are based on last name?
Yes, the advisor,
list
you can find out who your financial aid advisor is on our website, which is financialaid, all one word, .missouri.edu. And up in the left-hand corner, it'll say find your advisor, and you can click on that. It gives you an alphabet. You can click on the letter, and it brings up their email address.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
You have her undivided attention.
I'll be here afterwards.
Okay. Before we